Have you ever wished for an Android smartphone that is both affordable and music-centric? This is Victor with PhoneArena with a review of one such device, the Sony Xperia E1. Now, the Xperia E1 comes as one of the first of the 2014 wave of affordable Android smartphones, and as such it comes with a new Snapdragon 200 system chip that is more modern, more powerful. And on top of that, it has a dedicated Walkman music key and the signature Walkman music application by Sony. So is it any good? Let's find out in this review. The first thing you notice about the Sony Xperia E1 is that it's built out of such low quality plastic that it makes the phone feel like a cheap toy from the Dollar Tree store. Despite its negligence for looks, the phone is also fairly tightly put together and has no squeaking parts, which is good. The Xperia E1 is a bit chubby, but also a very compact and pocketable phone, great for single-handed use as your thumb can practically reach its every corner easily. Up front you have just the Sony logo on top, the screen, and no physical buttons. It uses on-screen navigation keys. All the physical buttons are located on the left. There's a tiny lock key and a volume rocker above it, and both are clicky and responsive. We ought to separately mention the unique Walkman key located on top of the phone. This key is specifically designed to control music playback. Long pressing it starts the Walkman app, pushing it once pauses or resumes the current song, and double pressing it switches to the next song. It's a neat touch for music lovers who can control their music without actually firing up the phone or taking it out of their pockets. In its bag of tricks, Sony also has a fun LED light that acts like a disco ball of sorts as it adapts its color to the dominant color of what's displayed on the screen, so a photograph with a red motif triggers a red LED response, which is fun. The Xperia E1 features a 4-inch display with a resolution of 480 by 800 pixels, and quite frankly the display is one of this phone's weakest points. It looks very washed out with a distinct bluish cast, poor contrast, and inaccurate colors. Viewing angles are just terrible. Tilt the phone just slightly and you witness huge loss in contrast and color saturation. The display is fairly bright, but outdoors it's still very hard to read because of the high reflectivity of the display. The E1 runs on Android 4.2 Jelly Bean adorned with the Xperia user interface. It's not the latest 4.4 KitKat, and that's a shame since KitKat specifically adds optimizations for devices with 512 MB of RAM like the Xperia E1. Now, Sony's skin runs smoothly and is one of the most likable custom Android UIs with sleek looks, appropriate swift animations that add some nice dynamics to Android, and a few custom apps that add to the stock experience. Sony's custom Walkman app deserves a special mention here since it's optimized to work with the dedicated Walkman button on the phone, and it offers a rich music experience with traditional capabilities like the ability to categorize all your music, but it also offers a dedicated equalizer and so on. The on-screen keyboard is also sufficiently large with well-spaced buttons for convenient and relatively fast typing. Sony's Xperia E1 is a member of the new 2014 wave of affordable devices, and as such it comes with a newer and faster version of the entry-level Snapdragon 200 system chip. It's a 1.2 GHz dual-core processor with Adreno 302 graphics, and with it the E1 is a surprisingly snappy device for its class, offering a very smooth performance throughout. At the same time though, the phone only ships with 512 MB of RAM, which is limiting especially for multitasking. Internal storage on the Xperia E1 is 4 GB, of which only around 2 GB are available to the end user. Luckily, you can expand on that scarce storage allowance with microSD cards of up to 64 GB. Sony has chosen to preload just one browser on its device, and it's mobile Chrome. Google's Chrome browser is an excellent browser with nicely optimized for touch card-based interface and plentiful options. It loads and renders pages fairly fast, and we're happy to see that scrolling around and zooming in and out happens swiftly. In terms of connectivity, the phone supports download speeds of up to 21 megabits per second on HSPA networks. Other traditional connectivity options are here as well. They include Wi-Fi BGN, Bluetooth 4.0, GPS, but there is no NFC on board. With the Xperia E1, Sony decided to cut corners in one of the most oft-used features, the camera. The handset comes with a bare-bones 3-megapixel autofocus camera with no flash, and there is no front-facing camera either. Images captured on the camera vary between average and perfect conditions and disappointing in lower light. Wherever you shoot though, the captured pictures lack the detail sorely, and that's the biggest issue with the camera on the E1. Still, in well-lit conditions the camera gets the colors mostly right. overblowing them slightly in some situations, so for sharing on social networks with no pretense of photographic excellence, the images are usable. Video capture is also way below average even for an affordable phone. By default, the Xperia E1 shoots at 480p, but the frame rate is very low at 19 frames per second and footage looks choppy. The 4-inch screen on the Xperia E1 is big enough for many to use it to watch short videos either on YouTube or via the built-in media player. Strangely though, Sony has overlooked video codec support and we could not get to play any XVID or DivX files. The built-in video player manages 720p MPEG-4 and MKV files, but for fancier encodings you should turn to something like the free MX player on the Google Play Store. The real highlight of the Xperia E1 is its music affinity with a built-in Walkman app and a dedicated physical Walkman key. The Walkman music app won't disappoint music lovers. It is rich in options, features an equalizer, and neatly categorizes your music. Sound via the loudspeaker is loud enough but does not impress in any way. It's definitely on the thinny side. Now, the included plug-in headphones are not exceptional, but while they don't pump that super bass, they produce very clean audio that's a pleasure to listen to and are definitely above your average set of headphones that phone makers usually include in the box. Call quality on the Xperia E1 is satisfactory but not great. On our side of the line, voices in the earpiece sound loud enough and clear in their natural tonality. On the other end, however, our callers report hearing very distorted voices. We'd advise our callers to push volume down a notch so that they can understand us clearer. The E1 ships with a 1750 mAh user-removable battery. Quoted talk time stands at the below average around 8 hours, and in our daily experience with it, the phone lasted around a day, requiring overnight charge in most cases. Finally, it's time for a conclusion. Let's see if the Xperia E1 really is any good. First, let's start with price. This little device sells for around $150 off contract, and its price can go up to as much as $200. Now that's affordable, but that's not dirt cheap. And we already have devices like the Motorola Moto G and Nokia Lumia 520 that do an excellent job providing top-notch performance and a nice design at this same price bracket. So on the positive side, we can say that performance-wise, the Xperia E1 is a really good performer. It does better than the 2013 handsets by a wide margin. However, there are a few very sizable compromises. First, the screen. The display is not as good as we would have liked to see even for an affordable Android smartphone, and the camera is downright disappointing at times. It's very bare bones. So our alternatives in this price bracket would be, of course, the Moto G, which packs a 720p 4.5-inch display and a much nicer design. Or if you want to go with Windows Phone, why not try the Lumia 520 and Lumia 525 that's both cheaper and more powerful and overall better balanced than the Xperia E1. Now, for a more detailed dig and the review of the Xperia E1, make sure to go to PhoneArena.com. Thanks for watching.